Alright, we are now streaming and recording. I can edit this down in post if needed. Um, do I want to watch it through OBS? I might as well, but I feel like that might change the dynamic of how I talk. Can I pull up the Zoom window over top? Because that may help me. I think it won't capture it. No, it won't. Okay, that's pretty decent. So I just kind of have it staggered in my browser. But
Okay.
anyway, how do you on this fine day? Because we're live
I
now with the pod, so I
this
guess we
is
can just get it
I do
rolling.
well. I do well. Listeners, thank you for returning to the port of paradise. You know, the sky hasn't been red in a while, so there's really no sailor's warning or delight to be had. The I don't know, dog. The ethereal sea is tumultuous. And
Oh, are you
my
speaking about
throat
the red
rate.
sunrise? Because the red sunrise was impressive this morning. I looked out and I was like, oh, there is blood on us all.
Oh wow, was the sky really that red? Because sailor's warning. Then we're in trouble.
Yeah, we're fucked. And that just confirms my paranoia that I felt for. I felt a storm's a brewing for some time, but I may be listening to the wrong weatherman. You hear?
I, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know. I'm really not sure. I think I'm definitely prepared to go at it no matter what type of no matter I guess what type of day it's supposed to be meteorologically, except for these throwing razors, John. These throwing razors.
Oh wait, no, audience. What are these throwing razors?
Okay. Well, audience. I don't know if you're familiar with the modern Batman canon. I don't know if you are, but if you are, God, Batman opens you up to the sidekicks of the body by throwing a razor blade right in your eye. He really does it. He really does it in multiple cannons. And honestly, I don't think there's a more effective distractive technique. Bruce Lee is all about the finger jab. Have you ever had a razor blade in your eye?
Or a finger jab with, you just sort of nook the razor blade between the webbing of your fingers. Pop.
Well, no, like he's like you're supposed to like essentially like hit someone with like the just right in the eye enough that they can't see.
Just
And for
it's
just
like
for
a
enough time.
battery object
Yeah,
in that it's a source of power. It's a source of power.
surely. But I found out that hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have four of the first ones that I made. It looks like no. Wow, I'm actually not even sure which nine I have remaining, but I only have nine out of that original 15 because the rest of them were so hard that they broke on contact.
Fractions, finance class. What is 9 over 15? Quick maths in the
I
morning.
guess 9 over 15. That's what, like 6 over. No, not six. That's 3 over 5. Yeah.
Yeah, you're damn close. It's point 0.6, so that's a pretty good ratio. I didn't even tell
Hell
you I
yeah.
was looking for a ratio, but finance is all about ratios, and this is the finance kid now.
I've absorbed the language of your major by osmosis.
That's the goal. The goal is to absorb the language so that you can absorb the language and not let the language absorb you. Uh,
Exactly.
that's always the
Exactly.
goal, to find
Definitely.
yourself in the creaky balance between speech and insanity.
That's that's an interesting concept because well I guess if you model like a sort of speech insanity dichotomy where like you actively use your capability to communicate as opposed to like there's just a runaway primate communication machine within you it reminds me of the idea of like I guess I think pretty frequently about how humans are like more technologically advanced than they are like I guess morally slash ethically sophisticated and
Oh,
the
I
idea
would
that
say
like
that.
the
Oh yeah,
human tool
sorry.
making
Go ahead.
machine has run away is an interesting idea. It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean we keep changing the environment? What do you mean?
I think that there's like almost I wouldn't know for certain, but I would imagine that like if you were to ask, I think cell phones make it very unpredictable for me, but I'm sure there's still data that you could pull from that. But I think that to some degree, engineering could have become like familially ingrained as like a trade you hand down to your kids. Um, in the terms of like the language of it becomes so complex and uses words that have so many other meanings within the context of the language and
I was
other languages
mhm.
like period. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking about that I was reading about something like really, really boring, like saws or something, the way saw teeth cut, or and I was like, oh wow, I totally forgot that there would be a term for the channel that the saw makes as it begins to cut. That's not the cut yet, and that's called the kerf, right? And I was thinking about how like, oh, the only reason that word exists is because when sawing was hot shit on the block, you needed a term for the groove that the teeth on your stick make, and
Yeah, when you referred to a
I think that
saw
that's
as a tearing saw, I think, or like
oh, as a rip saw, as a rip saw.
a rip saw. I was like, oh no, that is what it's doing, kind of. It's ripping, like it's just creating enough of a point that you could snap it off and like tear off a limb from a piece of hardened wood,
Hmm.
or I guess
Hmm.
softwood as well. But
Oh yeah, I
no, you don't
do.
want the sap to ruin your saw.
I wonder. The original saw was probably like a jawbone, right? Like probably just one of these.
Yeah. I used the donkey's jawbone to slay 1,000 men. I beat them with the donkey's jawbone over and over again, as Adam, I believe, I forget what his YouTube channel name is, but made a. Oh no, you're frozen. You're just frozen with a smiling face. That's not a bad place to be. We may have to regain our composure here for a moment. Okay, we're back now. I
I,
don't know what
okay.
happened. I don't know what happened there, but we're also now recording.
Mm. I miss Craig. Do you miss Craig? I
I
miss
miss
Craig.
Craig a shit ton.
Yeah, dude. I guess. I guess that's really, if we consider this to be POP season 2, that's what happened. I guess we let go of Craig. We had to.
Yeah. Did he take our ship, or did he or
Oh
was
no,
he
dog.
tossed overboard?
Oh
Did
yeah,
we
no.
drop him off in
Craig's
friendly
on.
ports?
Craig committed some accidental fratricide. Craig's on the Black Freighter now. He doesn't. Oh man, I'm gonna bump that song after this though. But
Oh, for sure I am. Uh,
oh my gosh.
Jim Jones at Botany Bay has also been added to my playlist, courtesy of you, I believe.
Ooh,
Called
we should make like a good shanty playlist. I think that would be a really tight thing to maintain.
My working
Just add like,
playlist title is called "When the Water Rises,"
cool. That's
and
a good one. Send that to me.
yeah. It has 5 videos, uh, and 4 of them are not classic shanties, but I think that a lot of rap can fit into the shanty category.
Oh, surely, yeah, no. Like, God, you think you're telling me Birds isn't a pirate shanty? You're telling me you couldn't sing Birds on on the deck of a ship with Robert Pattinson playing guitar sitting in the crow's nest? I,
See, it
what
has to
else?
be a stormy sky when Pattinson is the watchful eye in your crow's nest, because should the sunlight hit his skin, uh, your whole ship will go up in flames.
Oh, this is true. This is true. Oh man, I was gonna say it's got to be. How else will he know when Gotham City needs him if they can't project the symbol into the clouds?
Do you know how bad my anxiety is that if I were actually running a crew of a ship, I mean, not today because ships are different now, but
Hmm.
all of my cargo would be canvas backup sails and like lumber for like the poles or whatever. It's like,
Oh
hey,
yeah,
we can fix this, but we need to be able to
I
fix this.
I
I'm
know.
not trying to
Very
keep any
freaking.
human cargo or spices in the keep, because like whatever you could carry in your pocket.
That's what I'm shipping. Like, hey, hey, the year is 1650. Do you have this much platinum? Because that's the only amount that anyone has. Give it. I'll ship it for you. Give it.
Do you like that
Like,
one astronaut who like kept a bunch of coins in his spacesuit and then almost sunk in the ocean upon reentry because he had
oh,
just so much
because.
memorabilia to sell and sign for people?
Hmm.
I don't.
Oh my gosh.
I was thinking that maybe you'd recall his name better than I can,
I
because I
don't
think
think
you
so. I
dealt with
don't
the
think I've
space
heard about that.
program better than me.
That's
But
that's really fucking funny though. That's I. You just take. You're like, man, I'm gonna take all these lead bricks to space. When I get back, they're gonna be worth a fortune. um. What was I going to say? We were talking about. I felt like I had something to say related to Pirate Jenny for a second. Related to shanties. Oh, It was just a throwaway bit. I was gonna say when you storm the deck of someone else's ship, you're telling me you don't say, lunar eclipse forcing you to trip off the moonlit fiery spray, cryonic haunted bullets hollow tipped with toxic waste, and you say that while you're reloading your musket. It's keeping terrified.
Was that song just about the game Dishonored, where you craft poison darts for your bolt revolver? I think you
You
also
know what?
create like plague bullets or something. That's a fun game. That's a fun
If you
game.
can do drugs in Dishonored, then definitely the song Tack Out is only about Dishonored.
That I think is contained within the clip I failed to record.
Yeah,
was
it's all
uh,
great.
was no, I need to say it publicly so I don't do it again. Is my thing. I need the public pressure. Put the pressure on him. But I don't know. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there's something about sea shanties though.
oh yeah,
Yeah, uh, Nina Simone.
yeah.
Yeah, Nina,
Also, the
badass.
I feel like you could definitely include some of the actually in addition to Simone's Pyrogeny, the Zuzu's cover of Nina Simone's Pyrogeny is really
Oh
good.
yeah, the Zuzu
Well,
voice is
I
very
yeah
similar to Just Tobacco, which is what Nina Simone's voice was, but in the best way possible. You know what I mean?
yeah oh yeah, it's like I'm with a lady who used to smoke a little bit.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like somebody who's seen the
Like,
devil and cast him out.
have you ever seen the Venture Brothers?
I've seen bits and pieces. Yeah.
Do you remember Doctor Girlfriend?
No, but I do know Dr. Barber, and I think that may be a similar concept.
Doctor Girlfriend is so you know who like the Monarch is, right?
I don't know the show as well as I thought I did,
Oh, okay.
apparently. But
Google Doctor Girlfriend from the Venture Bros. I feel like you'll recognize her. She's the Monarch girlfriend slash wife. Oh well, she's Doctor Girlfriend and then she's Doctor Mrs. the Monarch. Um, but she's like a femme fatale, super attractive, really intelligent, but has like a super duper deep voice, and it's a gag in the show.
mhm.
Really interesting character, actually. Like all things considered. Well, honestly, most of the characters on the Venture Bros are pretty interesting. The Venture Bros is a really solid show. Got canceled, and I'm still mad at Adult Swim about it. Just kidding. I'm not really mad at Adult Swim. They can't really do all that wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like there was also some other news about like cartoon bookings
Hmm.
recently, but I don't remember
I know
what it
that.
was. Some
I
other
know that.
show got canceled.
Oh. I'm trying to think of. I don't know that many cancellations. I know that Gendy Tartakovsky's Primal uh, is coming out with season 2. Are you familiar with Primal?
I'm not, but I'm familiar with Gendy Todorowsky. That's Samurai
Ooh,
Jack for
yeah,
all
yeah.
y'all.
Yeah. We got Samurai Jack. We got Clone Wars. Honestly, a lot of Cartoon
Oh,
Network shit.
I've seen Clone Wars.
Oh, yeah.
The thing that Clone Wars did for me though in my mind was completely devalue what human speech is because their voices like almost go into like a Buddhist like of like monotony in the show, or at least in the animated. I think in perhaps further animated spin-offs of Clone Wars, the most
Mm.
successful. Well, actually, I don't know. Was he the 3D Clone Wars or was he
Oh
the
no.
2D
He,
one?
he was the
2D
he was
one.
the 2D Clone Wars. He
Okay,
was the
then
2D Clone
that
Wars.
would make a lot more sense then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the
Oh,
3D
but
ones is what I have that issue with when they
oh yeah. I
when
don't
they
know
do
who
that
did
and move
those, but
from
I
this
do
world
remember
of
watching.
3D into a world of 4D or 5D.
You need to vibrate higher, but um, the so essentially, Primal is essentially my understanding is like it's a very well done Tartakovsky cartoon because he's real talented, but it's just it's like a cave dude who just does really gnarly cave dude stuff. And I think they definitely are a bunch of clips of Adult Swim's Instagram. You should check it out because it looks pretty gnarly. I just haven't seen it yet.
Oh yeah, the name sells it for me 100%. I'll have to check
Oh
it
sure,
out.
yeah. There's like
Both the
there's
name
one clip
attached
where it's
and the
just
title of the show.
there's like so I guess there would be like there's like a dinosaur in the background and he's just like here in the foreground with just fists covered to here in blood just punching something.
Who gave Gendy blood? Who gave Gendy
Just
blood? Is this what all
John,
your
you have
blood
to.
donations to
I,
build up good karma have done? Like every
oh,
time you donated a pint, it was just that Gendy Tartarovsky could use it to hand paint a panel in a
oh no, it
show.
really could. It really could. Like honestly, I don't think that he's going to be able to go back after Samurai Jack season 5, because oh boy, when Samurai Jack accidentally slit that lady's throat. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Also, no one was more excited for Samurai Jack season 5 than me. No one was.
I can guarantee nobody was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I was really hyped, and it was so good, man. It was such a good season. The ending was
Quar
kind
was
of a
so
letdown,
hyped
but
that he related the entire Gospel of Samurai Jack to me, and I went back and I watched the entire show just so that I could watch the show as it came out.
oh man, that was such an event. It was really such an event, man. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about all the things that I really like. Okay, so if you haven't seen you're all I'm well I say you all like we have an exhaust like a really high number of listeners, and then I say you all as though all our listeners I can expect to know about Samurai Jack, even though I feel like I could. Samurai Jack season 5 was just made many years after season 4, and it's the season finale. It also is the only season in which Jack fights real people instead of primarily robots, so you can see some of that good Samurai Jack violence, but with human blood sometimes. Well, mostly in like episode 3, because he's got to murder like 8 people in episode 3. It's a thing that happens. Well, I guess 7, no, 5 technically, because there's 7 of the sisters that Ashi is a part of originally. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's pretty tight. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I it is like it's like 8:54. How long have we been going? Like over half an hour, right?
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
are
yeah.
you around 40?
Yeah.
Let me think. Do you want to?
Oh, I can talk a little bit about what I've been up to as of late.
Please do.
So
Please
so
do.
my habit has been I really don't like rhetoric in the idea that all of your words are laid out before you, because I like the
Mm-hmm.
idea that of the reinforcing phone as a tool to create more stable people, in the sense that like it reinforces the language you already speak, or like the ideas you already search, right? In the sense of like it creates a feedback loop of I like dogs, all of my feeds are going to be dogs on like social media or something, or uh, I like all the fun stuff in the world, like wars and chaos and famine and plague. That's really fun to me. Uh, so all of my headlines are just like there's a
Mm-hmm.
fire burning. There's a fire burning for 1,000 years. The
It's
fire
your
is the
fault.
true enemy.
It's your fault. It's your mom's fault. It's been your fault forever.
A butterfly flaps its wings. It fucked up. An
It's because of
entire
you.
dimension collapses because of it.
You know why that butterfly flapped its wings? Because you weren't good enough. And
You weren't good enough.
now, why
Or
weren't you
that's
good enough? That's due to another butterfly, but really, it's a multi-generational butterfly butterfly inferiority loop. But continue with what you were saying.
oh yeah. So I still have to submit work for rhetoric classes because they're like enforced gen eds, which are just
Mm-hmm.
prerequisites to get your major certification piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And so I've been in the vein of expressing my distaste for rhetorical framing as like what rhetoric is, rather than rhetoric being like a living, almost conscious, uh, multi-person program that's being run across all these various nodes and that type of stuff. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like going like what's. I don't think you can always get there with what's the audience? What's this purpose? Because I think a lot of rhetoric is framed in such a way that leaves it open to
Mm-hmm.
being non-exclusionary, right? Because you don't want to say like, oh, you don't know what I'm saying right now, you're gone. Uh, but you should learn. You should
Yeah,
learn, which is what I
yeah,
think the reinforcing, like this creates your identity to some degree, in our
to
modern
some
world
degree,
at
or
least.
at least it. What am I trying to say? Um, I was thinking about getting a. This is a quick tangent. I was thinking about getting an RFID tag in my hand, and like I was hesitant for a second because I was like, "Is this the? If I got that, and you knew that I had one, and then you knew like whatever like quote, I'm gonna say serial number, but that's not what I mean. I mean like identification number was on the tag itself. Let's say, would you be able then to, what just using my body, confirm that I am who you think I am? You know what I mean? And in that way,
You
or
already
and
have
that was a whole
tattoos,
different
though.
thing. Oh, that no, that's true. But like, I could be like, you could be like, hey, are you Quar Kennedy? I could be like, no, I don't know who that guy is. You know what I mean? Like, and I could say that pretty exhaustively, unless you were like, nope, we know on file you gave us your social security card, that we stabbed you in the hand, that we know that this is the implant in your hand, and so unless it's a different implant or you replaced it, you're this dude. That being said, I think that cell phones sort of give you like a talisman into the like the, I guess, what you could call the digital human metaphysical world or something like that. Or I guess digital. No, I was gonna say digital doesn't imply metaphysical necessarily. Well,
Yeah, I guess in the sense that
it's
perception me
like
is
is
metaphysical.
perception analog? Is
I don't
perception?
know. Yeah,
I
light
because I feel like
reflecting off of
something.
objects,
Yeah,
constructing a pattern in your mind.
exactly. I'm trying to think though,
But
because
yeah,
is
they are
there
very
like,
useful identifiers, which is why they were implemented in bodies in camps.
I guess.
Uh, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I guess experience would be analog to the extent that I think digital would imply like a one-to-one informational correlation between what you see and what is, and that's can't non-confirmable. But anyway,
mhm.
I do. I don't know. I feel sort of odd about cell phones in that regard. I do. I don't know whether or not you can whether or not that, and I'm not saying you're making it out to be like, the greatest thing since like fucking sliced bread,
Oh
but
no, I'm not trying to say that. All I'm trying to say is this, like, this is looking into the void, and the void does look back.
oh yes, I do. It's like a, we're all Dante, Virgil. We're all carrying around small Virgils. I do like that. I do like that.
Mhm.
I like the idea that, well, no, I was gonna say I
This is a
wish that cell
chamber of
phones,
reflection.
yeah, I wish that cell phones were more intuitive objects, because something that I really enjoy is when, and you know how to use an object, and I that's something that I like about like the finger hole in this, is that you're like, oh, I know what I'm supposed to do here, right? And then from there, you can work out the remainder of the grip just by closing your hand. And humans close their hands, like babies close their hands, so it comes built in. That being said, I think that cell phones definitely come preloaded with apps, and as a modern person, especially as a digital native, you know how to navigate a smartphone. That being
Yeah, that's what
said,
I was gonna say on the
I
intuitive point, because I've met young kids,
oh
like,
yeah,
just through like my parents' old church or whatever, who would like
mhm,
be like talking about the Minecraft computers they were constructing or whatever with
oof,
redstone, and I'm like, oh Jesus, they're gonna kill us all. Like,
oh yeah.
you should
But
fear the child.
that being said, I think that the I don't know. I think that maybe there is like potential for like a large negative implication, to the extent that the inherent layout of most smartphones is I guess determined by parties whose I guess primary interest isn't the actualization of the individual, if we want to get vague, right? But more specifically, whose agendas are, I don't know, like, I don't know. Like, I wish that there was someone who made a good phone who was indifferent toward my being on the phone. And I guess those are sort of counterintuitive, right? Because, you know, within like good knife design, I guess, is the implicit truth that you'll hold it at some point,
Mhm.
right? Or in fact that you'll be holding it for such prolonged periods of time that like ergonomics are important, let's say. And
That was,
in
I
that,
guess, my point with this knife is that like
mhm,
I could see this like clip being like a tool that you utilize like between the ridges of your fingers to like draw quicker, but I could
mhm,
also
mhm,
see it being like a tool for restraint, so that this is more of a tool instead of a weapon, and it's easier to
mhm,
sell.
mhm.
Um, and yeah, I think that information, especially like historically, has been considered a weapon because schools are, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
That might be a
Something that.
yeah.
Oh, so continue.
Yeah, I guess if that's the given, I would like to explore that idea more further, but perhaps not on this app.
But the only thing I was going to say is I was listening to another podcast, and Kat said something along the lines of that he thought that it was criminal that every citizen didn't have the right to digital level to military level encryption, just because well, why not? You know what I mean? Like, why should any of your information be public? I guess.
Oh yeah,
And
if the state can say that there's like the Guantanamo Bay files, right, are sealed because there are recordings of torturing uh, alleged like alleged ISIS members and alleged Al Qaeda members and all these people, but the U.S. also gave them weapons and shit in the past, so like the I think the Pentagon has said like, oh, we will not release these files because they will make people more radical than our torture program, which is aimed at de-radicalizing people, uh, to an extreme end
hey,
has.
I'm not going to stop torturing people. I just can't talk about it. I just can't do it. I just really can't. No, yeah.
Yeah,
But continue.
but yeah, to think that that power shouldn't also be vested in people is interesting to me. I mean, I think it is to some degree that you
Hmm.
can get like really, really good encryption
Yeah.
as like a consumer, quote unquote. But I think consumer reduces you to using a product as it's made rather than being participant to how it is made.
That's true. That's
Um,
true. You see, I don't even know because part of me is like that should be a thing just because, and the point that the person on this podcast made, and mind you, he wasn't like any kind of, he was just like, I think he like used to be on fucking Smosh or something, but he, he,
Losing you
he
there
was
for a
like the
second. There
NSA,
you
et
go.
cetera, et cetera. Like those are the people with supercomputers who you're avoiding, right? There's like there's like maybe like 1 out of 1,000 people who's got some really advanced information trolling technology and desire. And I'm not saying it's that hard to steal somebody's information because it's real easy. But that being said, the only parties that we are the parties that we are primarily against or are defenseless against are those who who are implementing the system that isn't ideal for us in this position. That being said, I don't, and we've talked about this a little bit. I'm more of like I like to speak in terms of individual responsibilities as opposed to individual rights because for like just because you can
Because the
guarantee an
response,
individual response.
yeah,
You
it's
can guarantee an individual responsibility versus like I'm not a disbeliever in the social contract, but you need a social contract for individual rights, and that
mhm.
and your imagining of the ideal social contract might not jive with the one that is. And I don't know if there's a way for you to say like, hey dog, it's your personal responsibility not to get your internet traffic snooped on because that's a technological limitation. But I
I
think you could definitely say, oh, I'm sorry, say what
I
you're gonna say.
understand the idea of like different places, different values, right? Like different like the American experiment of democracy or whatever should
Mm-hmm.
to some idea create 50 different like
Like small
states of
nations.
being at
Mm-hmm.
least.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to talk about like the county level, it should also create like that many separations tied more to degree in like locality, like in terms of like I don't know, in
And
terms of
like
a
specific
state.
resource constraints and stuff,
Uh, yeah, or
or
like
like
arbitrary
in terms of like
borders, but
microeconomy affecting micropolitics.
oh yeah, microeconomy affects micropolitics. I think is the best example, and then all of the dynamics thereof. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a good base to that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because obviously, like, there's the issue that if you live on a border, but like there's a major city next to a port next to you or something,
Yeah.
like you live in Erie or whatever, but you go to
Oh,
Columbus because yeah.
yeah. Yeah. That makes
Um,
sense. But
then you might
that's.
identify more with that state as an
Mhm,
economic base than your own state as a arbitrary geographic border.
mhm,
Um, and so I like in that sense that finance is because I dislike broad stroke nationalism
mhm.
because I think in the present context it's I mean it may have a revival in terms but like I think
It's
in
a
the
little,
present it's
it's a little lame now.
it's a little lame, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
if you're really out there fixing how your flag is flying, it better be because you're afraid of who might correct you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you should live next to some rivaling Nazis you have a tentative relationship with.
Yeah, you're like, I will hang one flag, and it's the American flag, and in this context, it is a protest of them.
Yeah. I gotta make sure these Nazis know what's up.
The flying of
No,
a German flag in my country, like, I don't know, like a German flag from a Germany that is not supposed to be in existence anymore. We fought a whole war to banish this state from the human
yeah,
consciousness,
like
but
dog,
ingrain its
we
memory
already
forever.
exactly we already tried. Well, some individuals tried real hard to make this alternate history a reality. They bungled it. You know what I mean? And they really gave it a college try. They almost did it. They really almost did. Oh my gosh! You ever like wake up and you're like, oh man, it's really great that the Golden Gate Bridge didn't collapse today. Like every once in a while, I think it's important to wake up and be like, man, it's really great that Hitler didn't fucking do it, and then we didn't get Nazi'd
Oh my God, I've been
so
having the
thoroughly at
inverse
least.
reaction where I'm just like, oh, I've heard PA is like Germany, and that's like in terms of terrain, and that's why all the Amish moved here. Maybe the Amish are like the wave of Germans that were sent here to like create like a foot ground for escape for all of the for all of
Oh
the
my gosh!
Operation Paperclip dudes that moved to
You
the U.S. as like
you see
Nazi scientists after the
the
war. Maybe
the
we
real
maybe
reason.
maybe
I,
they had a grip on historical consciousness and are trying to crawl forward and creep slowly through the vast expanse of time.
I was going to say that maybe so. The reason Hitler studied the occult, he went back in time. He was like Otto von Bismarck. You got to send a bunch of these cats to PA. You have to
Have you
send them.
seen that like one I think it's like a Steam released movie, like Steam the game platform released movie, because it was released in VR as well, I think.
Oh,
It's called like it might I think it just has a silly name because it's like about a future cop who goes back in time or something, or he's like a time cop maybe. It might just be called Time Cop, but I think that's a different movie.
I think it
Because
is.
other cats have had these ideas. They've
Yeah,
played with
this
them
is
like
true.
yarn they have.
Hey, dude, I'm just standing in a human anthropogenic environment. Who's to say whether or not someone's been here before?
But I think he fights like Robo Hitler, like Mecha Hitler, like Godzilla, right?
Oh, Kung Fury? Is that what
Kung
it's
Fury,
called?
yes, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
I've seen
Thank you
Kung
for
Fury.
naming it so I don't sound crazy. Kung Fury,
No,
look
you're
it up.
totally
Look
fine.
into it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. I have to watch Kung Fury again. It was pretty good, actually. Oh man, he has. No, I was gonna say Hitler has the bird. Hitler has the bird robot. What does I think Kung Fury himself has. He's got some. Oh no! I'm sorry. I'm thinking of like the machine that was dancing in the beginning. I thought they both were martial arts masters with some form of robot sidekick. Anyway.
That was my impression as well.
Oh yeah.
It's very like vaporwave aesthetic, like retro future, dirty. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
just real gross. Real gross, but LEDs. You know what I mean?
Which is honestly,
Kind of
it's
the move.
the,
Yeah, I
the
guess
whole
it is.
cyberpunk aesthetic is like, hey man, you want this implant, but we didn't clean it out before. It's like, do you want this? Infections are all the rage these days. Like, hey, dude, do you want to use this nootropic to concentrate on how dirty your fucking apartment is and how dirty the fucking city your apartment's in is? We can make your IQ 200, but only for worrying about things. I don't know. Oh man, but we were just talking about. Did you have anything to? I guess I know that we went like Kung Fury, Nazis, Amish, like etc. Like back
Oh,
through to like. I was gonna ask if you had anything to say about the I guess the encryption point in relation to the like
oh,
the fractionation of the country.
encryption. Yeah. So that's what I was saying. Like I view to some degree like dialect as a form of encryption, right?
Yeah.
And language for sure is like a form of encryption
Hmm.
because it's
Or at
all
least
like
compression.
limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, compression. Yeah. But I think it also serves. to some degree is encryption, or it can. I guess perhaps not in the same terms that you mean. So you may be more right in compression. Well, I don't know about compression because I would view like standardization of language as lossy compression, like where
Wait. Say that term for me again.
I would say
Standard.
like really rigid rules of language like MLA type
Hmm.
formatting guidelines when they're viewed more as rules or laws rather than guidelines, I'd view that as like a form of lossy compression because you're losing all the other meaning that that
Okay.
order establishes.
Okay.
Um,
I think that the only reason I don't know, I think I would maybe consider like language. Well, the only reason I say compress is that because like when I say the words to you that I'm saying, I'm trying to communicate the immensity of thoughts inside my head, and there's just the words are lower data than the brain thought, right? And or at least like simpler, I guess, and therefore like they contain less information, and so there's like a compression happening there. I think encryption might be a proper term, at least in like maybe in like a
I mean,
almost
in
maybe in like
terms
a
of
poetic sense to the
preserving
extent
the human
that
species, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
like
but
because
just
like if like how many different languages are you gonna fight before you go like, oh,
yeah.
it's just work. Like I've seen people go crazy in war, and all they do is like rhyme like a child. Uh, uh,
It's like lines, dimes, crimes, time.
I
I've
think
killed
that
many men.
rhyme schemes are almost up like in terms of like pure symbolic. Oh yeah, because that's what I was gonna say, right? Languages
Mhm.
are just the sounds your mouth can make.
Yeah,
And
or
there's
I
a
guess
yeah,
yeah.
and
Like the set of the rough like I guess it like some segment of the set of possible human mouth sounds mapped to human action. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. The oh I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no,
Continue.
go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I think that maybe like you could consider like encryption to be roughly equivalent to like ceremonial magic in the way that we use the term. Just because if I like purposefully obfuscate my point in a way that makes you more receptive to my point, then that might be like I guess that would be encryption in the raw like encrypt sense that I am. I guess what am I trying to say? Making I'm like occluding some aspect of my information or like like convoluting my information to hide something. But
Oh,
I don't
that's
know that
true.
it would be.
But
You
I
know
would
what I mean?
also say it has like a translating function, right? Because like if you're speaking, so like if we're both speaking and we neither of us have headphones in and your audio loops through the sound, right? And we both
Hmm.
talk or whatever, that feedback is called crosstalk.
Hmm.
Um, which is the name for this podcast if I kept going to Bible study.
That alternate reality. Oh
Woohoo!
man.
Approaching it. I gotta slowly sever my alternate realities, prune them, pare them away from this one.
Yeah. Just I got to make sure I'm never going to be that person. I like that instead of getting your life together. Just like I got to make sure I'm never that guy.
Oh, what I was gonna say in regards to language, right? So if there's crosstalk, what do you do when nobody can hear what anybody's saying because all of the voices are just going inside your brain, which is, I think, what schizophrenia is.
Interesting. That's
I think you revert not to language as like a form of spiritual communication through vibration of the air, but I think you go to light or like visual perception, right? Like physicality. And while that has different cultural instantiations, I think the context of I do not speak your language or like I do not have the like the set of cliches that your culture calls a language, like in
hmm
terms of the range or spectrum of what speech can be.
hmm
Um, like I think music has some role in encoding too, because like just I have to think that in regards to like that music is very often used in war,
yeah,
um, and torture for that matter, in
yeah,
prisons. Um,
yeah.
like I don't think it's
Well, I
enough
guess
to
in both
just
real
be like,
life and dramatizations, like
mhm,
yeah. But
yeah. Oh, but yeah, what I was gonna say is
mhm,
once you revert to the physicality, then I
mhm,
think you put people in a realm of going, oh, that's a chimp just like me, and that chimp doesn't want to die. That chimp is whatever. Like,
Exactly. Because there's definitely, I would totally get how, how like really early humans would have like. It makes sense to behave extremely harshly toward an out group, especially when you assume that the 30 people you see are the only 30 people, and when those people don't speak the same clicks as you speak, right? So you're like, I definitely get that, but I do, and it's definitely hard to overcome a language barrier, even though it seems relatively inconsequential. But I think there's definitely, like, whether it's for like urgent reasons or, well, no, I imagine particularly in like urgent contexts, once you like evolve like the, what are you like, once you get past charades and you just act like a terrified person, I think they're like the understanding becomes there immediately. Just because, well, one, I think that like postural sort of communication it's much older. Like dogs do it, rats do it. You know what I mean? Like, so like I think like communicating via gross slash fine body posture is one, probably something that like the well adjusted human understands more, or at least as much as their native language, whether or not they know it. Um,
mhm.
yeah, and I think that might be. And obviously, I think there's still a set of like cultural cliches, like how
I think that those are good because I see those in some ways survival mechanisms. I don't know if that's keeping the context of cliche uh,
well, I think that.
defined as previously in this context.
Mhm.
So yeah, sorry, go ahead. I don't want to cut you
Oh,
off.
no. I was just gonna say that like the differences in insulting gestures across culture is different, but like like when you jump and you go like this to protect your neck because we're generationally traumatized by millions of years of cat predation, right?
Yeah.
it's like that's a human universal. Or like when you like pointing is definitely human universal body language because everyone understands pointing. I mean, like make your eyes go over there. I'm
Hmm.
looking. You should be looking. um, and I think that I don't know. I don't know. There's probably like I wonder how many of like the military like the like the like the military hand signals you could like get people to understand, or because part of me is like well,
I think that
charades is
here's the thing,
definitely
right?
funny.
I think
Yeah,
you can get them to understand them when they need to, right? Like
that's
when it's
true.
a matter of life and death, everybody
Yeah,
goes like this.
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
but
yeah.
when it's like when you're sitting down to eat a meal with your family and some dude runs in and goes like this, you're like, get the fuck out of my house. Who are you?
Yeah, that's
um,
true. That's true. But I wonder. I don't know. I don't know. I think that's probably like I think that's probably where like telepathy is like a mythological concept came from. Just like really good body language readers. It's like you just like send Duck Tuck to talk to new dudes. he's like he's really good at eyeballing with people. I feel like
yeah. They named somebody Nah, I mean.
that's the hard name of the game. That's really
Hercules had to fight for years to slay the Nah, I mean lion.
oh my god! I think we should wrap the podcast there. I think that's the best place to end.
All right. Thank
Let
you,
me see.
Pirates of Paradise, for listening. I believe Quarry
Is
has
there
to plug some literature or media.
I let me see. I can. Ooh, I don't think I have any poetry immediately on hand. I would say listen to what have I been listening to recently? Honestly, I listened to like a lot of the Peer Gynt suite. It was on Kellen's story the other day when he was like what he was looking for fall music, and I was like
Mhm.
anything from Peer Gynt. Evergreen really goes off, especially in like the morning mood. I'm probably gonna listen to morning mood after this when I do my tutoroots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah. I would
it's
add the song "The Fall" by Rye. That's Rhye.
mhm.
Just because that's how my brain works on simple
Oh
free
yeah.
association.
Oh, and also listeners, of course, you're gonna want to check out Pirate Jenny by Nina Simone. You're also going to want to check out Pirate Jenny by Zuzu on the Nina album. You're really going to want to do these things. Oh, the fucking the Victim Soul Goodbye Heretic EPs. Check the
Plug it all.
Yeah, hey dude, if my friends do it, you gotta go look at it. It's really necessary.
And that's the note we're gonna end on. Thank you for watching.
It's been a pleasure.